Hello there everyone. Welcome to my Facebook Live. My name is Dara Walter of Pickled Peppers Creative Cafe at pickledpepperscreative.com. Hello and welcome to my Facebook Live. So on Thursday, I come to you here on my business page with creative projects to share with you. I like to talk to you about products that we use. I like to show you techniques. I like to show you card layouts and other creative things. And Thursdays are my nights for doing that. Well, for 4 weeks, I've decided to take over my Facebook Live session, which is usually a card and sometimes two. I am taking over my Facebook Live for 4 weeks. This is week 3 of 4 with a free Christmas card class for you. So I have been doing a Christmas card class where I feature 3 Christmas cards and I show you the layouts, I show you the products that we're using and how simple it is to recreate. So that's why we are here tonight. It is week 3 of my Facebook Live Christmas card class takeover. So welcome, come on in. I see that people are starting to show up. Hello Amy, I see Beth, I see Anna. Hello you guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you're excited for week 3 of the Facebook Live Takeover free Christmas card class. So I say it's a free Christmas card class. The way that I am conducting the class is the way that I normally conduct classes on Zoom, virtually, or in person when we're having in-person events. So it is an actual class, and just like with my actual classes, I am offering a class kit, and the kit will include product that we're using tonight, and it is free to you with a $35 order in my online store. So with that being said, hello everyone, how are you? Super excited. How are you guys? What have you been up to? I hope that you've been up to good and crafty things, because I certainly have. So hello, thank you so much for being here. You know, I'm gonna chat. Let's see, actually I've been chatting for a couple of minutes. Let's go ahead and get to it. We have 3 cards to create tonight, and I want to get them done in a timely manner so that you still have some of your evening to enjoy, and hopefully you're enjoying some of your evening here with me as well. All right, let's go ahead and turn down. Let's get started, shall we? And I'll still chat a little bit as we go. Also, if you have questions or you would like to chat with me during the class, by all means, go ahead and leave a comment or a question in the comment section, and I will do my very best to get back to you live. Sometimes I am really focusing on the projects that we're creating, and the comments might surpass me, but if they do, rest assured, I will go back and answer and reply. So, all right, so shall we go ahead and get started? Let's see what reminders I have for you guys. So today is Thursday, November 10th. I'd like to state that. Let me know if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay. You can watch the replay here on Facebook. It will be up here for as long as it is able to be. And if you prefer YouTube, I will be posting the video to YouTube so you can watch it there again as well. Again, this is a Christmas card class. This is week 3 of 4 of a Facebook Live takeover where I'm doing free classes for you. Again, this class comes with an optional free card kit, class kit if you would like. You can get it for free just by placing a minimum $35 order in my store. What I didn't tell you is if your order is $50 or above, you'll get the embellishment from tonight's class. There is a host code that you will need to use. It will be in the description above. In order to get the card class from tonight, you will need to order by midnight on Sunday to get the card class for free. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Tonight we are going to be using the Leaves of Holly. This is one of the most oh my gosh, I hope I didn't mix my parts up there. This is one of the most popular bundles in our new or our current, I should say, mini catalog. It's very beautiful. And so we're going to be using it. It does come with dies. These are the dies. Just looking at the dies, can't you tell how gorgeous it is? Gorgeous, gorgeous. So it comes with all of these beautiful dies, which we will be using the dies as well as the stamps tonight. So we'll have a good mix of both of them. But it's the bundle. And anytime you purchase a bundle from Stampin' Up!, if it's in the current catalogs, usually all of the bundles are discounted at 10%. So just to let you know that. So this is what we're using tonight. I'm going to set it aside just for a moment. We're also using the coordinating designer series paper. It is called the Boughs of Holly. I actually had the presence of mind tonight to cut swatches out for you so I don't have to rumble through the 12 by 12 paper pack, which I do frequently, not so gracefully. So tonight I have swatches for you, so I'll just kind of bring them close to show you, but well, we can flip through them. These are the 6 patterns, so it is a 12 by 12 paper pack. Designer series paper is what we call our pattern paper. This is the front and here's the reverse. Both of these, this is one of the designs that I am challenged with because I happen to like both sides of them, but they're poinsettias and of course holly and holly berries. This is another one of my patterns that's the favorite, or a favorite, and I like both sides there. There are 2 different sizes of poinsettias, so you can see the larger one. There's the reverse, and then a smaller one. There's the reverse. You see those polka dots? I have a thing for circles. Did I ever tell you guys that? I have a thing for circles and dots. So a lot of times you'll see me using them in my designing. I have to actually catch myself when I'm using them too much because I adore them. Thank you. Thank you for the hearts. There are some pine trees in varying colors. There's actually, I think, old olive, soft succulent, and evening evergreen. I love the trees too. Here's the reverse side of that. Kind of camo maybe. And then this paper is so beautiful. And then here is the final sheet. So there are some swatches for you of the designer series paper. Okay, let's do it. Let's get right into it. Card number 1. And then remember, if you guys have questions or comments, please go ahead and ask away. I don't mind you asking while we're creating, and I don't look at it as an interruption. I actually welcome it. So because there are lots of dies, I showed you the dies. I am not doing any die cutting on camera because we would be here a long time. But what I am going to do is, let me actually bring the dies back in, kind of so you can see. Let's find a good place here. Is this a good place? scooch over a little bit. Okay, kind of so I can point out to you what the dies are, and then we'll get started assembling our first card. So again, we have 3 cards. Tonight's cards are more elegant than the previous 2 weeks. So we're doing kind of traditional colors and elegant. So anyways, here are, maybe you'll see them a little better in my hand. These are holly berries. They're in that die set. And let's see. Here's the overlay, and then here's the holly berry. So that's what you're seeing here. Let's move a little more quickly here. And then there is a label. So if you can see the label here, here is a label. This is very vanilla. There are a couple of pine sprigs there. I decided to do them in red. I'm not sure why I decided to do them in red. I just did because of the color. I've never seen red pine sprigs, not that I know of. But in my world tonight we do. And then we have another label. Here, and then this little piece that you see here actually goes behind the holly leaves. And this is where we're going to start. We're actually going to start here because we have a little bit of gluing to do. So we're going to start with the label, and then this goes behind the label like this. And so you could make it two-tone. Let's get back in camera here. You could make it two-tone if you wanted to. So the solid piece could be one color, probably, well, it could be lighter or darker. And then vice versa for the label. So because I'm going to use liquid glue on these, I am going to assemble them first. And I'm going to do the same thing with the berries. That gives it time to dry while we are stamping. I also have a rubber silicone mat here. And what this does is keeps the glue from going everywhere, and it cleans really easily. The glue doesn't stick to the mat, so you can wipe it off or peel it off. And then I'm going to use the liquid multi-purpose glue, my favorite in the whole wide world. So I'm going to show you how I do this, kind of a cheat. I can't stand gluing little pieces together, but I'm just going to take the glue and go around the outside. And then if you can see some of the inside pieces, they're attached only on one end. So I want to put a little bit of glue there too, because I don't want it lifting or ruining after the card is completed. But can you see how I'm just kind of squeezing like a small amount of glue, and I want to make sure I get the peaks there and some of those little some of the little pieces in the center there. Okay, and then I'm simply going to lay this down on my silicone, because that way I don't have to worry about the glue you know, getting on anything that I don't want it to. I'll place the solid die cut on the back, and hopefully I put this on the right way, because I'm not really sure that I did. Hard to see in the camera, but either way, this is the result. Okay, so I'll put this aside and let's glue our berries on. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll take the open pieces, flip them over, get a little glue, and then I'll flip it right side up on the berry. At this point, I have glue on my fingers. This is why this isn't my favorite thing to do. But liquid glue is wonderful for small pieces. Okay, we'll set this aside, and one more. Let's see if I can make it go a little more quickly. and then we'll get into some stamping. So for all 3 cards tonight, I didn't show you the ink colors that we're using, but I have 3. We are using Cherry Cobbler, Old Olive, and Evening Evergreen. So I'm sticking with those 3 colors, and usually when I'm creating cards not for a video, I try to do the same thing. I try to stick to 2 or 3 colors in a color scheme because it makes life simpler. And I think the cards look better too. All right, so for our card base, we have a piece of Very Vanilla card stock. It's half a sheet. It is 8.5 by 5.5. I have scored it in the center at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of Evening Evergreen that is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have another piece of Very Vanilla that is 3 3/4 by 5. So this is how it's going to layer up. So this is the bases of our card. I'm going to go ahead and grab my bone folder and crease the edges here. And then I think I'll go ahead and, do I want to mat this now or later? Let's go ahead and do some stamping. I'll set this aside for a moment and then I can decide later. All right, so we're going to be using only 1 holly berry, or 1 holly leaf, actually, not holly berry. And they're 2-step stamping. So there are 4 leaves, which are actually 2. There is the solid or semi-solid background, and then there's a detailed overlay. So you've seen that if you've watched me at all. A lot of our stamps are the 2-step stamping so that you can get that sort of detail. We're going to use the smaller of the 2. So this is the smaller and then this is the detail. We're going to grab the smaller, and I'm actually not going to use the detail for this one. However, I will be showing you the detail, maybe I think on the next card, so you can see how it looks. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it. I want to say this might be my first purchase from our current mini catalog. And this is a Christmas catalog. It actually reaches its duration at the end of the year, and then when January comes, we are going to have a new mini catalog. I'm so super excited about that. This is Old Olive that we're using. So I'm going to, let me grab some scrap here also. My scrap is getting a little bit loved, but that's okay. That's what it's for. I am going to stamp 6 holly leaves around the center of this mat. So let's go ahead and get started. Tap, tap, tap. I'm going to do both of the centers first, just because it kind of lets me know where I want to stamp the other berries, or the other leaves. I keep calling them berries. They're holly leaves. And just opposite, I'll stamp the other one. So this kind of gives me placement. Now I know I want the other 2 on both sides. And it kind of helps me not have to measure, because if I don't have to measure, I will not. I am so good with eyeballing. I like the imperfection. Sometimes perfection is necessary, but mostly I like the randomness of it. I like the homemade feel of it. I don't necessarily want things to be perfect, and I think that actually works pretty good for me, because I would be in trouble if they had to be perfect. Oh my gosh. I don't think I'd get anything else done in life. All right, So easy peasy, right? We have our 6 holly leaves, there we go, that we've stamped. Let's go ahead and put this aside for a moment. So the next thing we're going to do is we are using, this is called, it's a bit of ribbon. It is, oh, frayed ribbon is what it's called. It's actually really nice. It's maybe, in my imagination, the color of snow. It's a little more vanilla than that, but that's what it reminds me of. So it's really soft and it's imperfect. You see that? They're kind of little knobs on it. It's not smooth at all. I'm going to cover this ink up because I'll make a mess with it and I don't want to do that. All right, so I'm going to grab my scissors and I am going to cut a piece of ribbon and I'm going to glue it right to the center of the card here. So I don't want it to go over the edges, but it can a little bit because this is just going to be a mat or a layer on our card front. So that's pretty good. You can actually, if you get this ribbon, it's really nice. If you want it to look kind of rustic, you can fray it like that on the ends. You see what I've done there? I'm not going to, but you could. All right, and for the sake of ease, I'm just going to grab my double-sided adhesive. I probably would use glue dots if I were being good. Okay, and then right down the center with this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our label, remember the label, and we're going to put this in the center. We're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals, so be a little bit liberal, like put them on back of the leaves also, because you don't want those flopping around. And then just enough to keep your label propped up pretty good. Let's remove the adhesive backing here. I like to use my Take Your Pick tool for that. If you have nails, this is a wonderful thing. Oh, there it is. Let's get that in the trash. And then we're going to place this right in the center. Right on top of the ribbon. And you have enough Stampin' Dimensionals that it should be okay, that it's adhered to the ribbon. And now let's go ahead and put our final 2 items, which are our 2 holly berries. I got it right. I'm actually using a berry now. And our 2 red pine sprigs. And wherever it feels good to you, we're just going to kind of tuck them a little bit behind, or yeah, behind the label. And I like it there. So once again, we're going to bring in the wonderful liquid glue, and it is actually wonderful. One of the things I like about the liquid glue is when I don't care about being messy, I do like to even use it to adhere the layers of the mats of my card fronts, because they don't come off. Sometimes with the double-sided adhesive, I find that after a while they lose their adhesion and stickiness and the card will fall apart a little bit. Well, let me tell you, not if you're using liquid multi-purpose glue. It sticks on there pretty good. All right, and then I think we have our final, let's see, yeah, our final berry. We'll stick this here. And our last berry. And then we'll do a little finishing and we're done with the first card. We'll just kind of assemble it to the card base. I'm trying to be gentle here. All right, let's cover that up too. Okay, The last thing that we need to stamp is our sentiment. I will tell you, as I normally do, if you are not me, it would be best to stamp your sentiment and then die cut it. But because I did all of my die cutting off camera, and because I'm a bit of a daredevil, I don't mind doing it in reverse. And a little bit of a secret, because we're on camera, I cut an extra just in case I make a boo-boo. All right, there are these two greetings that fit wonderfully in that die cut that we're using, the Christmas wishes and the season's greetings. And I am a huge fan of type print, so I love, love, love the font there. It's amazing. And I'm just gonna grab either of these, it doesn't matter. Put it on my very used block. I'm gonna ink it up with Evening Evergreen, so tap, tap, tap a few times here on my ink pad, and then right in the center with the sentiment. Keep your fingers crossed for me. And voila, there we go. We're gonna add this also to the center with Stampin' Dimensionals to cover the ink up because I don't trust myself. We'll grab our dimensionals, and actually let's do this last. Let's go ahead and layer up. So this layer will go right on top of the Evening Evergreen. So let's grab our double-sided adhesive, which I feel like I'm getting low on. We'll add this matte. I don't know, we use we use basic white for a lot of cards, but I feel that the Very Vanilla is so very nice, especially this time of year, because it gives the card a vintage kind of look, I think. Okay, we'll layer this one here. I forgot to tell you that your embellishment tonight and what we're using are the rhinestone basic jewels. So here they are. If you place an order tonight and your order is $50 or more, I'm going to send you a pack of the rhinestones absolutely free. All right, so we'll finish up by adding a couple of dimensionals to the back of the sentiment, and grab my Take Your Pick tool right in the center, and then we'll add a few rhinestones and we're done. And you could actually make this card any color that you want to. You would not have to use the Very Vanilla. You would not have to use the Evening Evergreen. You could use whatever color scheme that you came up with. Oh, that's a little higher than I wanted it. Well, it's there now, so better leave it. Okay, and here is card number 1. Isn't it lovely? I love it. Love it, love it. Okay, let's move on to card number 2. Let's make a little room here. For card number 2, I am using Cherry Cobbler. So let's pull the pieces in. We'll move this aside for a moment. I don't think we need it. So we have a card base that is 7 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Let's go ahead and fold it. And if you'll look, can you see how there's an empty space there? I have a piece of designer series paper that is 2.5 by 5 1/4. I have a cherry cobbler mat that is 4 by 3, a basic white mat that is 3 3/4, 2 2/4 by 3 3/4, and then we have a basic white mat that is 5 1/4 by 4 for the inside. All right, so this card is kind of simple. The basic white is for our stamping, so we're going to put both of these mats aside. This is a really simple card, very beautiful though. All right, so I'm going to turn this over just so you can see that the designer series paper we're going to put on the smaller section of the card. This is actually the card front. I think I need a little adhesive here. Just to bring it out and get it ready, because I think we're about out. So let's go ahead and grab your double-sided adhesive. And we'll adhere it right to the card front here. And then we'll put the basic white mat on the inside. Sometimes you can stamp on your inside mat, but for this card, the inside mat is going to do kind of a peekaboo, so I don't think that you necessarily want to stamp on it because you don't want it to compete with the front. The front of the card is going to be a little fancy, so we'll go ahead and add the inner mat. Hi, Julie. You're late to the party, but you're here. Hello. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so this is the front of the card. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of stamping. So remember, we have the 3 by 4 cherry cobbler and the 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. We're going to stamp on the basic white, so we'll go ahead and put the cherry cobbler aside, and I'll bring in my scrap piece again. And for this one, I'm going to show you how to do the layering. You know, we can go ahead with the same leaf. And I'm going to bring in the old olive as well. It's nice to actually have lots of ideas on using the same stamp set, because that way, if you purchase the stamp set, you have plenty of cards that you can make, or scrapbook pages, or 3D paper projects. Okay, so where I'm stamping is actually going to be the side of this mat, but for placement, it's easier for me to turn it towards me. So I have taken the same smaller leaf that we used on the last card, and this is the background again, so the semi-solid piece, and we're only going to stamp 2 holly leaves here. So I am going to, actually, before we do that, let's stamp the sentiment. Let's go ahead and stamp the sentiment. I'm going to grab out of here the Season's Greetings. This is going to help us with placement too. This is why I changed my mind. We'll stamp the sentiment first. Just want to make sure there's no old ink on there. Okay, good. I'm going to turn this around so it's like portrait mode, and this is how it's going to go on the card. So this will be the bottom, and I want my sentiment to the bottom. And so that I know where to place the leaves without going over the sentiment, let's go ahead and put our sentiment down first. So I'm using the cherry cobbler, and we're going to put our sentiment right along the bottom center of the basic white mat. It's 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. There we go. All right, so let's continue on with the leaf now. So we have the smaller leaf, and again, we're using the old olive. And now I am going to turn the side towards me. I'm stamping the leaves, let's do it on the left side. Yeah, so I'm going to stamp the leaves on the left side of the mat. And now that I have the sentiment there, I kind of know where to place the leaf. And it can take up most of the space now. It's okay if it does. Kind of on an angle here, and then I'm gonna stamp one more towards the top. So I'm creating kind of a V. You see what I've done there? And then let's go ahead and put this leaf aside, and we're gonna grab the detail because I told you I wanted to show you how that worked. And again, because if you own this stamp set, or if you're thinking about getting this stamp set and using it for your holiday creating or whatever, you need to know how it works. So I've grabbed the detailed of the smaller leaf. So there's a larger and a smaller, small, small, large, large. That's kind of how that's working. And I'm going to stamp it with the Evening Evergreen. Remember, we have 3 colors of ink tonight: Cherry Cobbler, Evening Evergreen, and Old Olive. And then I'm gonna kind of hover right over top of the Old Olive leaf and just stamp down. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. For me, I'm okay with the estimate. And we'll do it again to the other leaf here. I probably could get it a little closer, but I don't want to stick my head in your way. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? Let me bring it a little more close so you can see that. Isn't that amazing? I love chunky stamps. It takes up a lot of real estate, and the detail is gorgeous. Thank you guys so much for the hearts and the thumbs up. Thank you. Beth, I'm excited I get ideas to use with the stamp set. Absolutely, absolutely. It is wonderful to be able to have ideas to use in your investment, right? All right, so for this card, that is all the stamping that we're doing. I am going to use now, this is called Simply Elegant Trim, and I'll turn it over so you can see that it is silver and gold. And we're going to use the silver. Oh boy, I kind of pulled it right off there, didn't I? Well, you don't need that much. I'm going to make a little bow. So we'll tie a simple little bow, and I think maybe I want the tail to be a little bit longer. So let's leave a little bit of a tail, and then I can always trim it down to where I want it to be, but kind of want a long tail here and not that gigantic of a bow. Kind of like that. Okay. And then we are definitely going to need, let's put the dies aside. We are definitely going to need glue dots for the bow. Get the ends a little more even here. And then I'm going to take a mini glue dot and then just grab it by pressing the knot on the bow right to the center and lift it off. And we're going to put it right here on the side. And if the tails of your bow are too long, you can trim them. Actually, we have more stamping to do. I'm going to put I'm gonna put that holly berry there too. Holly berry, I said it again. I'm on a roll now. I don't know why I wanted to call the holly leaf a holly berry. We're gonna stamp both of them. I'm gonna use the cherry cobbler. The holly berries actually come the same, so there's a solid and then there is a detail. So we're just going to put the solid right here in the middle of that V. I wanted to stamp it off and make it a little lighter, but that's okay. Hopefully it will work. And then here's the detail. And we're gonna stamp right on top of it. I meant to take away a little bit of the ink so that you could really see the detail there, but that's okay. I actually happen to like the effect that it left. I'm gonna clean my fingers here because I am quite inky. And if I touch that white paper, I am going to ruin it, and I don't want to do that. You see how much ink is on my fingers? Hard to see, but it is there. And red will make a mess everywhere. So let's go ahead and cover it, and then we'll finish our card. So we'll grab the card base, and we're gonna grab the mat, the 4x3 cherry cobbler mat, and we'll layer these two together. So let's grab our double-sided adhesive, which seems to be hanging on. I thought I was going to run out, but seems to be hanging on pretty good. Okay, and then we'll layer these two pieces together. I don't know, I think this is stunning. I love the simplicity of it. The pop of silver looks amazing, and I'm going to show you something else. I'm not even sure if you can see it. I got a little red dot of ink there. For most people, it probably wouldn't bother you. Remember when I said if it had to be perfect, I would never leave the table? It's because I have a little bit of perfectionism. But I've learned that I don't have to be that way. And it's actually not good to be that way either. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in some rhinestones, and this is one of the ways that you can remedy a boo-boo like that. You cover it with jewels. And so that is exactly what I'm going to do. Add a few gems here, just sprinkle them around, and then we're going to attach this to the card front right in the center. I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. I only want them on one side because we only want the mat that we've created here to stick to the front of the card, not to the inside. Otherwise, the card wouldn't open. We'll drop this right down in the center, and we're done. Okay, here is card number 2. I just love those. I love that stamping. It's really, really beautiful by itself. All right. Let's get to card number 3. Oh gosh, I put that right on the card. For card number 3, we are using one of the designer series paper patterns that I told you was my favorite when we saw the swatches, and we are using an evening evergreen card base. So this one is still a half sheet of cardstock, but it's cut lengthwise, so it is 4.5 by 11, and it is folded at 5.5. I'm sorry, 4 1/4 by 11, and scored at 5.5. So let's go ahead and just give it a nice little crease. This card goes together pretty simply. We have the Designer Series paper card mat. Let's go ahead and add it right to our card front. Right in the center. And then we have a piece of Designer Series paper. It is the same pattern, so we're going to be using the reverse side, which makes me really excited because I like both sides of this Designer Series paper, so it's a little sad when you have to choose one side over the other. And then I have gold foil, and the gold foil is 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. The Designer Series paper is 2 by 5 1/4, and we're going to layer it like this. So let's go ahead and do that. One of my favorite and easiest card layouts. You could actually, once you have these two mats layered, oh, I got it on a little bit crooked. Once you have these two mats layered, you could really put it just about anywhere on that card front if you wanted to. I'm going to stick it in the center. This is just a wee bit long, so I'm going to cut the extra off. Just a little sliver there. There we go. I'm going to put this in the center, but you could put it to the side, and you could use a large mat if you wanted to. I'm going to stick this right in the center. So let's go ahead and glue this down. So we have a little more gluing to do. We have the 2 holly leaves. So now that we've gotten the card base mostly done, here's the card base. That little bit of gold makes a big statement. We have 1 small leaf and 1 large. So let's go ahead again and bring in the liquid glue. I'm going to grab that silicone mat. Even though I have the mat, we're going to move the card right out of the way. I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself not to get it messy. So let's do one at a time. Remember, we have the filigree here, and this time I think I'm going to put just the stem right off the edge of the silicone mat. It'll give me a little something to grab onto. I'm going to show you what I think might make my life a little easy here, a little easier. So I'm going to add a little bit of the glue, and then this time I'm going to add a little bit to the stem. This is going to allow me to hang on to this stem but still get glue, hopefully. Let's turn this around. Do you think this is smart? I think it might be a little smart. There we go. And just lightly tap. Let's repeat it again. I kind of like that. I don't feel like my fingers are as messy. So I kind of like that. A little glue here on the stem, but none on this side. That will let me hang on to the stem. Not so gracefully, however. Okay. That's all of the gluing that we have to do for this card. So let's go ahead and put the overlay on. And while it's drying, we'll do our only stamping, and we're just going to stamp the sentiment here. So let's go ahead and use the I think it was the Christmas wishes that we used. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and grab the Evening Evergreen. We have that label die again, so we'll ink this up with the Evening Evergreen. Stamp the sentiment right in the middle of the layer here. Let's see how we did. Not bad. Not bad. Pretty good. Okay, we'll set this aside. We are going to use an embellishment that came with the suite of the leaves of holly. They're called Textural Elements. I believe they're back in the online store. They're little wooden veneer berries. Aren't these the cutest? Look, my heart is sad. I'm at the end. I have 4 left. I'm going to be using 1. Here we go. And so we're going to have 3. These are super, super cool. You can color them if you wanted to. I've done that. Colored just the berries in with cherry cobbler, with a cherry cobbler Stampin' Blends marker. Let's go ahead and bring our card base back in. And we have our sentiment that is trying to blow away on me. And our 2 holly leaves. We're going to stick these flat to the card. So I think I'll place them here and kind of pointing outwards. I'm just going to use my double-sided adhesive to do that. And I'm going about maybe 3/4 of the way up the card. And we'll do it again. You could use your liquid glue too, or whatever adhesive, but this works pretty good. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and take the wood veneer. I am gonna use the liquid glue for this. No, you know what? Let's use glue dots. Let me grab a couple of glue dots and just place them on the back of the berries. And, oh no, I cracked the berry. That's okay. We'll still stick it down. And I'm going to place it pointing downward. Let's see if I can stick on the broken berry. Oh no, so very sad. There we go. Oh hey, not too bad. All right, the last thing we're going to do is grab some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to give this quite a bit of dimension. I am going to stack 2 Stampin' Dimensionals on top of each other. So I have the one here, and I'm going to stack another on top of it because I want to make sure that I have enough space to add the sentiment and not be impeded by the wood veneer that we have there. So we're going to give it double thickness. And right over the center. And there we go. Card number 3. Thank you. Thank you so much for the hearts and the thumbs up. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the other 2 cards that we did tonight. Here is card number 1. We did a lot of stamping, and we had the holly berries and the pine sprigs and the ribbon. So this is card number 1. Here is card number 2. So simple enough for you to recreate on your own, and lovely and elegant enough to scream Christmas. And then here again is card number 3. So I hope you liked these cards. Remember, the stamp bundle that we used is the Leaves of Holly. It comes with the stamp set that makes gorgeous, gorgeous holly leaves, not holly berries. It makes good holly leaves too. And then the coordinating dies come along with it. What else did we use tonight? We used the Simply Elegant trim. You get both silver and gold. And this is really cute. I like it. And then, what else? Oh, we used the basic rhinestone jewels. So remember, if you like the products that we used tonight, everything is available in my online store. If you want a class kit, the class kit actually is enough materials to make 6 cards. So you get to make 2 each of the cards that we created tonight. So the materials will be in your class kit. It will be packaged like this, so everything that you need. And if your order is $50 or more, you'll get a pack of the rhinestones to use with your card as well tonight. And let's see, is there anything that I didn't tell you? There will be a host code in the description above. You can order the class kit for free, or you can earn the class kit for free with a minimum $35 order in my online store, and then I will send the class kit to you for absolutely free. And all of the information that you'll need will be in the description above. So I think I covered everything, I think. And if not, please, by all means, leave a question or a comment and I will definitely answer it. All right, so let's go ahead and say there we go. Okay. Thank you guys so very much for joining class with me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the products and the projects tonight. Remember, if you would like a card kit in the mail, I will send it to you. You have until Sunday at midnight to order by using the host code that will be above. All right, so this has been a marathon, but it is week 3, so we have one more night of free card class, which is next Thursday. I believe the date is the 17th. So I hope to see you then. We'll have 3 more beautiful cards, and then we'll have stuff coming up for December as well. So I hope you stay tuned, join my mailing list, and subscribe to me over on YouTube. That link will be above as well. Thank you so much, you guys. Some of you, I will see you tomorrow for a crafting weekend. So super excited about it. And then the others of you, I hope I see you next week for another Facebook Live free card class. Have a crafty weekend, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.